This is a little alteration I've done to my RM8. Before, the bipod was sat here, which made the gun quite wobbly. That it was sort of the centre of gravity was more in the middle, and you could easily move them up and down. So I wanted to extend the bipod, so it comes out here. So I've gained, I don't know, nearly 4 inches, which has made the gun a hell of a lot more sturdy. What I had to do, I had to drill down through the stock. I put a screw in here and a screw in here. And also, when I used to have the bipod on before, it used to cover this port and the gauge, so if ever I had to fill it, I had to take the bipod off to do it. So I've done it so I can quite easily fill it now. I've had to put an extra rail on the bottom just to strengthen it, because it was this is a dovetail to Picatinny rail, and this bit here, the original bit here, was quite flimsy, and I'm sure over a period of time it probably would have bent up, and keep straight in it, it probably would have snapped. So I strengthened it with a bit of steel. I have got to sand it down and paint it and things to do it. Obviously I put a couple of bolts through, obviously drilled through that, drilled through the rail and tapped it to take the these 2 little Allen key bolts. The stud here came off another, I can't remember what it came off actually, but it was too long, so I had to drill a bigger hole in it. Hang on, if you can see that. I drilled a bigger hole in it so that the stud stuck out, and now it's in perfect line, so I can easily put the bipod on and it clamps. Before I had to put a packer in there, pretty much the same thickness as that, to take the bipod off, so it just kept dropping off. So I shall take the stock off and I'll show you how I've drilled down through. So this is what with the stock off, I will show you exactly what I've done. The hole here in the middle is what was done by the gun shop, and to be fair, they made quite an appalling job of it, and the stud actually kept coming loose, so they put epoxy resin in there to try and hold it. What they should have done, they should have drilled from the inside out, but I think they drilled from underneath up and didn't get it in the middle of this. Hang on, if I just move around here. You can't quite see because it's a bit dark. But this is the thickest part where you put your stud through anyway. So drill through this side through, not up, and you get it spot on. So what I've done, I put an extra couple of Allen key countersunk bolts on there to hold this rail. So it was fairly easy to do. Just drilled, I think it was a 4mm hole, and then just countersunk them a bit to take the bolts, and obviously drill through this rail, tapped it to take these screws, and it's quite solid on there now. As you can see, the back part's slightly covering the gauge, but it's only filled to 200 bar, and I can quite easily see it anyway. So I'll show you what it looks like with the bipod on and how much difference it's made. This is with the bipod on. I am going to sort this out. I've got a little plastic cap I could put over this, and this one needs trimming off. But as you can see, it's actually moved the bipod quite a bit more further forward, and it's made it a hell of a lot more sturdy. As you know, I shoot rabbits up to like 55 yards, so steadiness is a must for me. I'm never worried about altering guns. You know, I don't buy guns to look at, I buy guns to use. So to me, it's much more practical to move that further forward, even though it means drilling the stock. You know, it's just the kind of things I do. So let's get out on the rabbits, put it into action, and see what it's like. Well, it is a lot easier to actually hold the gun much more steady without really having to work at it. That's the first one in the bag. I got here fairly late in this evening, that's why it's a little bit dark. There's actually 2 shoots on this video. Nice little bunny up from that one. Obviously this is another day, so it's much brighter. It was a nice sunny day. That one was actually 40 yards. Clocked it on the thermal, didn't see it without the thermal. So quick zoom in and there he was. I was actually shooting quite steep downhill there, just got it wrong. Just put the pellet between its ears. That was about 45 yards, straight between the eyes. A few seconds later, another one popped out as well. Again, this is actually shooting uphill, not too steep, not really enough to make any difference to the trajectory of the pellet. If you look to the right, you'll see the one I've just shot. There he is. He's trying to get a good foothold here. Took him out cleanly. So it's almost dark here, but the pad is good at gathering light. The big ones just seem to drop on the spot. The smaller ones bounce around like banshee women. So we are back on the night time. Like I said, it's shot over a couple of days. It's all not all one evening. As you can see, pretty rock solid there. This field is pretty impossible to walk in the dark. There's that many cow ruts and big holes where the cows have sunk their feet in after when it's been wet. You can't really walk it in the dark without falling over anyway, which I have done several times. I think I'm up to 47 rabbits off this farm so far. I've only really concentrated on them the last few weeks. A few more bigger rabbits on this video than the smaller ones, but unfortunately they've all got to go. I will have several weeks of shooting here. Leaning on the gate shooting that one. And now on a few rats. Just in focus here. Just drop down in behind the board. There's a ledge of death. And over he goes. There's very, very few rats left on this farm now. Just get the odd ones after I've come back from rabbit shooting. Usually a quick cup of coffee, and then spend half hour, maybe an hour, seeing what rats is about. This one didn't want to stick his head up too far. Not a problem. Nice little bit of blood spray off that one. Peeking from behind a plough. So certainly ploughed that one over. I certainly wouldn't spend an evening just actually shooting rats here, because it just wouldn't be worth the while. Not for an handful of rats anyway. So it's easier just to shoot them after coming back from rabbit shooting. That was just a youngster, so obviously they're still around breeding. A little bit windy on this night, but not too bad. Very few bales left there. I think there's only about 4 bales left. So that's just one of the holes that they had in behind. Bear in mind there's probably 30 bales here originally. So obviously they'd made tunnels all the way through. This one popped out a few minutes later. They didn't drop through the hole, it just stayed in there. A bit of flap around there. Well, thank you very much for watching. I've been out over this weekend. I've shot 6 squirrels. So I shall put a video together for that. Catch up with you very soon.